Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is OctoMan, and today we are going into Missle Command prototype. In the last session, we were integrating all the in-betweens, like all the UI switches, all the other good stuff. We were integrating a countdown, so everybody knows whenever a new game or new round is going to, start, the player knows about it. Also, we are going to restart the level literally. What means is we are going to we are going to restart with all these missiles going to come up in the next round and so on and so forth, so you can connect or collect even more score. And what I want to do in this session is I want to try to combine the actual shop or the wallet with the actual how shall I say, with the actual numbers to be increased. For example, if we say we're gonna purchase the radius of our explosions, spheres, whatever, we want to make sure that this sphere is going to grow or becomes bigger and bigger depending on the upgrades. I don't know about a rate or like a resize rate. Maybe we're gonna have to fiddle around some mathematics calculations over there. So depending on that, we are going to increase the scale by a certain amount times the level. So this is what I want to go for, at least. There are also the other ones, like the rebuild factor. So probably I'm gonna make it so that a building is going to rebuild itself after or over a certain time. And once this building has been rebuilt, it's going to be destroyable once again. We could also later on think about pickups and stuff like that, but that is something for the future, or probably somebody has to test on its own. So because I want to finish that prototype later on, I want to put this on my website, and I will put this on my website so everybody of you guys interested into, but maybe want to save some time not to program all of that, you're all able later on to purchase this on my website. So when you're looking this one or checking this one later on, go down into the description as well as, everywhere possible. I'm gonna put the links down below whenever this video or the stream or actually the product is, it's done. So maybe later on I'm also gonna create a new, more like full compressed course about this, but not quite sure yet. So for the moment, I'm just trying to finish this prototype. So you guys later on can purchase this on my website and feel free to play around with it or create your own game with that. So, what do we need? We want to use the upgrades on all the systems we have created already. So whenever we are, let's say, upgrading the missile speed, but then we need to have a multiplier, which is going to take the level in consideration as well as the fly speed from A to B. And so each of them rockets need to know, okay, what is my current upgrade? What is my base speed, I would say? And what is the multiplier to become quicker? Same for the reload time, like the reload time in between the shot delay, literally gonna do the same thing. So we can later on make huge lists of content and huge lists of mathematical calculations by calculating the cost and calculating the radius. Do us through some tools we might go over, I'm not quite sure yet. But these are things we're going to be able to do rather quickly, I guess. Once we got some kind of a formula we're going to go for. We can use fixed numbers, which we currently use, like inside an array. Or we just use a formula later on. So all of that depends on how far you want to bring this and to calculate all of that content. Also, we need to get coins at every end of the level. Like whenever score has been reached, we're gonna reset score and we want to make sure that we're gonna convert score to coins. And I'm not quite sure about the leftovers, but we'll get there, I guess. So I believe we're gonna start with that. So we have actually the possibility to purchase every now and then, and we also need to integrate the upgrade system to be noticed by the system. Okay, so I guess this is what we're gonna start for today. What I need to do is I need to talk to my, or actually need to update my shop system over there. and we need to read everything or every contents from the shop system being stored inside the wallet. The wallet, once again, is a scriptable object, which is going to keep track of all the things. So whenever we write something into it in the next game session, this should be stored over there. We could test this out later on as well. So if that doesn't work, then we're gonna go another route. But this is the base of all that content, because over here in Unity, whenever I'm gonna do a purchase, it's going to be written down inside the scriptable object, and it's going to be stored over there. So whenever something is happening, we are going to update the scriptable object. And so whenever you would go for and reset the game, you're going to have to reset the complete wallet, literally. So going to get rid of all the score, all the coins, or the whatever we have stored over there, all the integers, or the levels of the upgrades. So how would we define the rocket speed? Let me go into the rocket and see what we got so far. By the way, guys, if you have not subscribed yet, feel free to do so and thumb this video up or this live stream up if you like it. Okay, so we got a base speed of 1.5 over here. So the rocket is flying rather slow because it's also getting slowed down. Let me just collapse some things here and there if it would let me, but it doesn't. Something is strange here. Let me go and reopen this. It's like something in the compiler doesn't seem to be as it should. I wonder why this is going to be not the function I'm going to collapse over here. Pretty strange. I don't know. Probably it's correct as is. But sometimes I can click on this and doesn't react to my clicks. Now it got it. Okay. So the compiler has not been done running. So meanwhile, we're going to move to this target. And in here, we got the speed variable over there, which is going to be smoothed out by time to delta time. So which is okay, which is fine. But we're going to need to integrate the upgrade from the shop. So the upgrade from the wallet. And so we could say every time a rocket starts, like we're going to do, say, from start move coroutine. Before this is happening, OnEnable is going to be called. So when this OnEnable is going to be called, we're going to be able to integrate the calculation for the actual speed. So we can rename speed over here to be the base speed. Then we get a speed variable, which is going to have the actual speed. So we need to always go and recalculate it whenever a new rocket is going to pop in, like the one we are going to create, to increase the fly speed of the rockets in general by them upgrades. So we can play around with some formulas over here and see, okay, if we're gonna have like this and that amount of speed for the rocket, then we want to make sure that, well, it is when it is like level 10, it is increased by whatever maximum amount. So what is the maximum speed of our rockets over here? And depending on how expensive the upgrades are going to be, in the end, we might want to go and, play around with that by just calculating the different scenario by upgrade. Of course, we can increase the things over there. I want to give you some idea how we can calculate this without doing this in general. So let me go and try to find the tool I want to use for that. Okay, so the tool is called Desmos, and it's like a graph and a calculation tool over here. In this tool, we can literally play around with numbers. We could, if we want to, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It could be visualized over here in this tool as well. So desmos.com/calculator. So this is where you're going to find the actual calculator for that. It's available in multiple languages, stuff like that. So what we want to do is we want to have some basic informations. For example, we're gonna in here we can put in all the formulas and all the actual known variables, which are going to be like a base speed and multiply speed and so on and so forth. So what we can say, we're gonna have in general, we have a basic speed. We can say the basic speed is probably 1 or 1 point something. So I can give out some variable or some variable name, and then I can say underscore. I'm gonna put in an underscore here and say base value or base speed, let's say. And after that, whenever this lets me, I can make an equal sign, and then I can give out a number. For example, the base speed is 1.5. Sometimes this doesn't like free like spaces inside the variable name, so just be prepared for that. So what we can tell now is what is the smallest possible speed, literally. So we're gonna start with a smallest speed. The smallest number is going to be 1. The highest number, well, this is something we can define over here. We can say, okay, the highest number is probably whatever, 5. But the step over here is going to be different. So when we can say, okay, we're gonna be somewhere here, and the maximum speed could be 5. Again, if we're gonna have, I'm gonna scroll down back to my base speed of 1.5, we can play around with these numbers over here. What else do we need? We need to know how many levels we are able to upgrade. For example, we're gonna put in an L underscore, and then I say upgrade level. Upgrade level. So this is basically, I just give it some names so I know what it is for. Otherwise, those formulas probably are not understandable. So what else? We're gonna say equal, and then we're gonna put in a 1 over here. Or we actually start with a 0. So our smallest number is 0. The maximum upgrades we can buy is 10. So we get a slider over here. But as you can see, the step is going to be wrong. So we need to make sure that the step is 1. So every upgrade is a full number over here by doing just them upgrades. So, okay, so we now we know the base speed and we know the upgrade level over here. And we can, just fiddle around with these things. Now it comes to the formula. How much do we want to increase the actual speed of the rocket whenever we want? So we can now play around and test different strategies and different, let's say, formulas to test out these things, and which is going to be, created over here as well. So our actual speed, so I can also name this one S and just name it speed. So the actual speed without a space, just gonna put a anchor right. This is the actual fly speed we want to reach just by, or let's say current speed. The actual current speed is the one which is taking the upgrade level as well as the base speed into consideration. So once again, when we are starting with a 0, we want to make sure that we at least have still a number like this number, meaning we always need to make sure when upgrade level is 0 that this is not giving us back a 0 as a number. So that's what we're going to take care of, or have to take care of in this calculations. By the way, you can use any kind of mathematic calculations inside this calculator and can spit out some graphs and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. So the S current speed. So how could we actually go for it, and what could we use as a calculation? Once again, these calculations have to be done by the people which are using this prototype on their own, because probably my calculation over here is not the one which is going to fit your game design, not fitting your calculation based on all them levels. Hi, Crazy Potato. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I'm glad to help out. So if you have any questions, feel free to, well, post them. So we're going to have the S current, and the S current is going to be the one which, well, is going to be the actual current speed, of course. So what do we need? We need to know the base speed. So we're going to take the base speed over here. So it is S underscore I need to make sure that all of that is typed correctly as I did above. Otherwise, it's not going to be taken in consideration. And now we get a result over here. So currently, this result over here is just that one number because this current speed is set to this. Now we can multiply, divide, and all the other good stuff. All of them variables based on that variables over here. Let's assume we got a speed multiplier as well. So I may go and create one. So I'm going to have a s underscore multiplier, whatever that is, right? We don't know about them numbers. Multiplier. And let's assume the speed multiplier is going to be always some kind of a fixed number. For example, 0.5, 0.2, 0. Whatever, or 0.01. This could be literally any number, and the cool thing is we just can play around with that, let's say, between multiple numbers. For example, somewhere between -1 and 1. So we cannot go higher than 1 and not lower than -1. Of course, we don't want to get negative numbers, but positive numbers, so we could also start at a 0 over here. 1 0 is more than enough. So we can now play around with these numbers. We can also say that the step size is going to be not, well, whatever number, or we just leave it free as is, so we have more space to, also play with 3 common numbers and so on and so forth. Now, what can we do now with this multiplier? Well, every level, we can now say we take the current base speed and multiply that by the current level times the actual a multiplier, for example. Once again, we should not forget that this level has to be bigger than something, like it has to be at least level 1 to get the correct result. So we may need to go and say we add a 1 to this upgrade level. Otherwise, the calculation, of course, is going to go offset or off in general. So probably there's also a possibility to implement something like an if-else scenario in some kind of a function. There are some functions over here, and there are also something like equal or bigger sign, a smaller sign, all of that. We can just integrate them in here. So we need to make sure, of course, that this calculation only happens if our level is like bigger or equal than 1. So, so based on that, we should probably put our calculation based on that. We could also split that things up. For example, we can even take more of them calculations into more of that spans, and then we add or decrease or manipulate these numbers based on whatever we want. So how can we do this? How would I do this? I believe I'm gonna take a R is equal to, and now I'm gonna take L underscore upgrade level. Then I'm gonna use the actual bigger equal 0, and then we need something to do. It's basically if the upgrade level is bigger equals to 0, we're gonna take the base speed. No, we take the s underscore multiplier and multiply. Nope. And multiply that by the L underscore upgrade level. Something is fishy here. That looks okay. Let's see what it tells me. Cannot be used by an so I guess I might need to put this into. Oh, that was the wrong one. Undo. I don't think that makes any sense. Okay, so let me screw that. I'm gonna get rid of all of these bigger equal sign. We just need to make sure that we later on integrate this fully. So currently we're gonna see that the R is returning a 3, actually a 0. So if I now upgrade the level, you're gonna see that this R, which could be whatever number, R is now 0.44. Why is that? Well, the multiplier over here is currently set to a number 0.11. And we got the level, so the level times the multiplier is returning this. So if I increase the level to 10, I got a multiplier of 1.1. I could also go in and, play around with the speed multiplier and see, okay, what should at level 10, what should be the maximum added to the current one? So that's how we can play around with these numbers and say, okay, maybe I want to add the maximum of 1.5 over here by a maximum amount of 10. We could also play around even further and say, okay, maybe a 0.26 is more than enough, or maybe it's something I want to go for. So the current speed is basically taking now the base speed, and what we can do is we can, for example, add the actual R to it, which now would return a 4.1. But what we could also do is we could also say we want to multiply it by that, so we're going to have a totally different result. In that case, we're going to multiply 1.5 times 2.6. So just over here, taking the speed multiplier, we can play around. Maybe we're going to make it so that the maximum speed should be, let's say, 5 in total. So until that, we make sure that the maximum level is going to be 10. We are not able to, by using this multiplier directly, we are not directly able to maybe put that in. So let me try a 0.33 or 3.5. You can see it's rather hard to hit this. So a 3.2, a 3.4 would be even higher than that. So what we could take is a multiplier, a speed multiplier of 0.33. So we reach a maximum speed of, of a maximum speed of 4.95. Since we now know this, we can integrate all of that calculations because we can see them numbers over here. We're going to see, okay, we got at level 10, we have a multiplier of 0.33. Of course, we can integrate even further, even more numbers, or divide that by another number. So we're going to have later on a way higher numbers. We could even put in an exponent, but that's really not necessary, I guess. At least not for this point. We could even go and multiply that number by something else, by another fixed number or another, point number, depending on how many upgrades we are going to integrate over there. So with all of that now set, I'm going to reduce it so I can integrate this calculation now over here. So what I do by that, or for that, is I create a new function, which is going to do all my calculations. But before I do this, I need to create all of these base values. So we got a base speed. The upgrade level is done by the upgrade by the wallet. Then we got a current speed. And then we got the multiplier. So let's integrate them. Once again, we can make it so that we can, later on manipulate all these numbers. Not really based on the rocket, but maybe based on some other system. So I'm going to put in a float and call this one multiplier. And since I said, okay, 0.33 is one I like, then I'm going to go and use that. Then I'm going to need the actual float for our upgrade. But the upgrade, once again, is reading from the wallet. And let's see, what was the last value? It's the base speed. So I'm going to rename this one here to be the current speed. And then we need a base speed. Base speed is equal to 1.5f, as I said. So once again, these numbers are going to be, I'm going to set this one, by the way, to 0, just so I don't confuse myself by using all that integration stuff. Okay, so now we can put in all these numbers into one formula and spit out a float. So we cannot, we don't have to do a void, but we want to know a float in the end, a floating point number. So calculate speed. Some typos. I want to calculate the speed. Okay, so again, we can now take all the formulas I just used or created over here and put them together. We can now also name them the way I just named them over here. So for example, R is going to be just the result of multiplier times upgrade level. Okay, so I'm going to put a float, R, which is going to be, once again, the result or the multi. Let me just name it multi is equal to, actually it's R. I don't know why. It's R. R is equal to, I'm gonna take the, where's the wallet inside? The wallet is inside the game manager, I guess. Oh no, it's inside the shop system. So we're gonna take shop system dot, and I'm not quite sure. I believe we got an instance and we got a wallet, my wallet. And in this my wallet, we're gonna have one specific level. And this level is going to be based on a specific ID. So we need to read the level of an item ID. So this item ID is the one we now need to know 100%. So we can read the level from a specific item ID. We just prepared this beforehand. So the item ID is going to be the one which is going to give back the actual speed of that item. And since I don't remember this item ID, of course we got an error, I just take a look. So I want to take the actual speed upgrade, this one, and this one has an item ID of 4. This is the one I want to know over there. So, and what I now want to do is I want to multiply that by what? Where is it? I want to multiply that by the actual multiplier, the upgrade multiplier for this one particular upgrade. In our case, it's 0.33. So I'm going to take the multiplier and multiply it by that. So now I got filled the letter R, so the result of number 1. Now, in the second iteration, I want to go and take and calculate the current speed by the base speed times R. Rather simple. So I'm gonna say the current speed. Actually, we don't really need to return a float, actually, even if we could. So what we can return now, we can return the base speed times R. This is what the actual calculation is going to give us as the result. So we are not using any fixed values in general. We can always go and change the values based on any kind of settings, or we just need to go in over here and play around with these. So we're going to calculate this. And when do we do this? Well, whenever we enable this option or this thing. So we count the spawner, and now we say we're going to set our current speed to be equal to calculate speed. So we return the result and use it in the actual flying method, like wherever we are moving. We just need to call, instead of speed, we need to use current speed as a variable. Pretty good. So if current speed is actually bigger than 0, and this is now another fun part. Since we are in here returning base speed times R, it could be that this number over here is not bigger than 0. If that is the case, we just, well, what do we want to do then? Because R is then not really relevant to us. So what we want to return only is the actual level of this part, or actually we want to only return that if this level is going to be bigger than 1. So to do that, the best way is we're going to catch the current wallet item, or the current level. I'm going to name it upgrade level. And we catch that number from here. Control X, Control V. I'm going to take upgrade level and multiply that over here. So what we now can do is, if R is bigger than 0, we're gonna multiply base speed by R. Otherwise, we just return base speed. And so how could we do this? Well, we should be able to use some kind of expression. So actually, if r is bigger than 0, we want to return base speed times r. We need to use a question mark. Otherwise, we're going to put a colon. We just use base speed because, well, level is actually 0. So that's it. So this way, we're going to make sure 100% that our returned value is at least the base speed. And it's not going to return 0 because it might be happening that this returns actually just a 0. Do us through this upgrade level. So actually, by using that, we don't even need to catch upgrade level, as I can just see. I would have otherwise tested against upgrade level, but we don't need to. So I can keep it as is, as I said before. Pretty compromised on optimized. I believe there's no better way to do this over here, at least for the moment. Okay, so now we got all the upgrades up in place. And to visualize that, we could say, okay, we're gonna make these fields here serialized fields of the current speed, so we can check it in scene whenever the scene is running and just select some. Maybe I don't want this one to be serialized later on, but the multiplier and the base speed should, since we're gonna store this information later on inside the rocket itself. And the rest is driven by the shop system. So we shouldn't have any issue here. Well, I hope. And now let's pretty quickly take a look and what is the current speed over there. So if I go and start the next round, I'm gonna get my own speed, my own rocket clone over here. As we can see, it has a current speed of 0.495. Now I believe so. Now we need to know, why do we got so fast rockets? And let's calculate this and see what is the current level over here inside our wallet. So I'm gonna go into the shop system, or actually inside the wallet, and we're gonna see that element 4, or the ID 4, has a level of 1. That means, well, is that the correct number? I guess it is. That means we're gonna add 0.66 to my rocket actual normal speed, or to the base speed. Let's see inside this calculator. So we got a level of 1, and in here we now got the current speed value. So we have a 0.495 as our current value. And as we can see, the current speed over here is 0.495 because of this first level. Fun part is, well, if I would be 0, would my speed not be higher? I mean, that's pretty quick already, in case of light speed, I guess. So it was worth something. On the other hand, these rockets over here seem to be extremely slow now. Not quite sure if they're using the same calculation because they don't have any results. Do they use the same script? So my rockets look fast, but those rockets are going to look, quite slow. I don't know. That's what we're gonna take out and take a second or take a look into in a moment. So all rockets done, pretty good. We're gonna show that. So if I would go for and make the speed quicker, and here it says 2, but it's still level 1. Still, I guess. Maybe I have some issues with the calculation. Let me reset the wallet. I want to see something. Spawner. No, it's the shop wallet. Let me make this one a level 0. Let's see what's happening right now. Okay, I need to shoot another one. Okay, I need to shoot it a bit further. Okay. So, actually, I believe I was taking a look into the bad rocket, but not in the friendly rocket. which is going to use another. Oh, I was right. Oh my God, I was writing this into the wrong script. That's funny. Since Friendly Rocket has its own calculation based on the speed over here. Aha. So this way we could also manipulate the other one rockets. Okay, so I'm gonna take all of that out. Control X. Go to Friendly Rocket. Pass this one in. And basically do the same thing. I just copy paste now. Gonna take the calculate fly speed. Control X. And Control V. Okay, and so what does that mean now is I'm doing something wrong with this calculation because the speed of 3 over here is going to be my base value right now. Since it's, well, the base speed is, I'm gonna get rid of that for a moment. The base speed might be 3 instead of 0.5 or 1.5. Oh, because I forgot something. I guess. Because this, when we multiply by R, hi Alex, thanks a lot for tuning in. If I go and add to my base speed, it's a different scenario than multiplying it by R. Why? Because it's reducing itself. Let's take a look. My base speed, when I have an upgrade level of 0, of course, this one is going to tell me nothing. So I now need to say, okay, if I take this current speed and I need to add the base speed now to the base speed times R, I guess that is what I'm missing over here. So again, I need to say as, I believe so. I just test this out as base speed plus base speed times R. That's going to give me a different result, absolutely. Gonna need to be here for my calculation. I believe there's some empty space there. There we go. That makes way more sense right now, doesn't it? Because now we're gonna take base speed in consideration, which is going to be 0.5. And if that upgrade level now returns a 0, we don't need to check against it, right? So we always go, because these two now return 0, and we're gonna start with the base speed. Now if I increase that upgrade level by 1, I add not just that multiplier, but also upgrade times multiplier. So we're gonna add them to them and multiply that once, like the same base speed times R. So we have like an incremental speed over there. And the maximum speed over here should be somewhere 6.45. Nothing fancy, and I believe we could even play around with the multiplier and get this thing into, you know, any kind of size we want. We could also say the 1.5 base speed is a bit too small. We can start with a 3, as we just saw in the actual rocket. So we would have in result several different numbers over there. So I would reduce my multiplier here to, let's say, maybe 0.11, 0.10. Something. Well, 0.10 might not look good. Let's do some weird numbers here, so nobody knows how much is the actual multiplier later on. 0.09. So we're gonna still get these upgrades over here, and we're gonna start with 3, and we're gonna end by 10 levels by almost doubling it. Let me make it a bit more, maybe 0.7 or something. Again, we can play around with these numbers here and visualize them easier than doing the calculation inside Unity directly. So that's why this tool is absolutely phenomenal to check it out. So now we got a totally different multiplier result over here because we are now taking the maximum level times this multiplier. Okay, so this is what's missing. So instead of checking if R is actually, 0, we're gonna take base speed and add in, we don't need parentheses. We're gonna take base speed multiplied by R. So now it's a bit more, it makes more sense. And we don't start as a super small number. So I'm gonna set base speed to R to 3. Gonna save, and in my move over here I'm gonna use current speed, Control S, and this rockets over here, they need to go back to where they just came from. I can use the serialized field for, so I don't need to go and copy paste again. I'm gonna copy here, or actually just don't have to rename things. I make them a 0.5 with a point actually, and an F for float. Save. Okay, so OnEnable, we don't need to go and call this because we don't do this anymore. We just go and move there. Pretty good. So calculating the speed times that, taking the stuff from the wallet. Now the numbers should be correct. I was just wondering why that was so weird. Gonna wait a sec or two. Missing script reference, I bet, because, well, I don't know. I guess I just did something in the pause menu or something. So we got score, rocket, delay, yada yada yada. This is something, the shoot delay, we're gonna go for in a moment as well. So we need to combine that with our level up system as well. Input pointer. I wanted to integrate these x values or these x's, but we're gonna get there. So let's pretty quickly see. We got a level of 0 over here. We got some coins to do an actual purchase, but let's assume we're gonna start with that for the moment to see if the rocket speed is going to be correct. I cannot create any because we are still in the waiting phase. Now these are going to be created even quicker. Funny. There's a friendly rocket which got destroyed. Let me pause. Probably our current speed is not set because there's no OnEnable thing. This is actually funny because we don't have the calculation of the speed now inside here. So what we want to do is public, actually not public, just void OnEnable, and open close parentheses, calculate speed. That's it. So whenever we create a rocket, we want to calculate the speed here as well, of course. And so our rocket is not having a speed of 0. Wait a sec. Gonna get some null reference exception because, yeah, all of that can be ignored. Let's see if I am able to shoot something with the correct speed. Why do you got no speed? Base speed is 3. Multiplier 0.33. But this one here does not work. Why? Same here. So they're sitting here inside and waiting to fly. Current speed times time to delta time. Move to target. And OnEnable. We multiply that from the wallet, from the shop system. That's interesting. Why does the planetary rocket does not understand this? Because, well, we got the OnEnable running here as well. So instead of using start, right? I've saved. And whenever we shoot by using the input and the game has been started, we're going to instantiate or try to shoot a rocket. Let me just close all of that. We try to shoot a rocket. And we're going to create a new rocket over here if the timer is done running. Set the rocket's target. So why is OnEnable not called? Do I have a typo? OnEnable. OnEnable. No, I don't. Pretty strange. Let me just refresh the assets. Ctrl R. Apply again. See why in the world this is not going to work. I mean, it was working for the other rockets. So why shouldn't it for the friendly ones? Doesn't make sense. Fun fact, they are unable to reach this point. But they still destroy themselves after time. Why ever? I don't know. What's wrong with that script? What's the difference actually? What is the difference between where's the... Oh, I closed it. What's the difference between the two? Why is it working for the normal rocket, but it's not for the other rocket? When do I actually start this move? Set rocket target, probably. Yeah. That's interesting. That's a pretty strange, actually. So, whenever we set rocket target, we might want to go and instead of using OnEnable, we might want to call this one here. I don't know if that makes a huge difference. I believe I had a typo or something. I just don't know. Sometimes I don't see what the issues could be. So now we're going to pre-calculate before we actually start to move. We need to call this function. We do so because, well, otherwise the coroutine would not be started. And the question now is, do we actually start it? That would be the only question now to solve, if not working anymore. So it doesn't have any value. Why? Is there a calculation mistake in here? R returns 0. That's what I assume. Base speed is set to be 3, which is okay. We are using current speed to do our move. That's what we do. Why in the world? Oh. Of course. We need to say current speed is equal to calculate speed. Otherwise it doesn't work, does it? So, I just deleted this. I just deleted this from here, but now we're gonna, of course, we have to set, the return of the result over there. Otherwise, it doesn't really make sense at all. So I could have done this now once again in OnEnable or just right before we are actually starting the coroutine. Doesn't really matter at all. So the OnEnable would be quicker, but the same thing should now happen or should now work. Once again, ignore all of these because they are just whenever you do changes on code or script. Meanwhile, in play mode, it sometimes turns out that the things are not going to work correctly. So let me see what I now got. I got a base speed of 3, which is awesome. So now when I go and, purchase an upgrade after this round is literally over, I should be able to upgrade the rocket's fly speed. I don't know when the round ends. I believe that are the last 3 rockets over here. These are still flying somewhere unreachable, so the buildings are not really chargeable. Maybe it's not too bad at all that they are going to fly over there, which is okay. So I currently have a speed of, it tells us it is the actual level 1, which it really does not. But now when I upgrade this one and start the next round, I should see, let's assume we're gonna shoot there. We're gonna see now a way faster rocket. So we now have a current speed of 399. Let's see if that is correct. in our you know, in our setting over here. The current speed should not be 3.99. It should be 3.42 because we have set the multiplier here to be 14, not 33. So let me go into the. I'm not quite sure if I do this change here, does it get upgraded automatically if that is a serialized field or not? I gonna check inside. I'm gonna check inside the actual prefab of the friendly rocket. Nope, it's not updating it automatically. So I'm gonna need to set this by hand over here. So the multiplier or the speed multiplier is going to be 0.14. Current speed is going to be set automatically. The base speed is set. If I now go in and check out, I should have a 3.42 as being my calculated number in case of speed, because I already purchased one upgrade from the last money I just have over there. So let's see, take a look. Now we are right. Now we have 3.42 as the calculator says. And if we're gonna, as you can see here, if we're gonna go forward and go purchase and purchase and purchase, our speed is, the speed of the rocket is going to increase to actually the way I want. Once again, you need to go and do all your calculations on your own over there. Like all your own mathematic calculations about all the possible formulas. But yeah, use the tool. It's free. You don't have to do anything, or you don't have to purchase anything. The calculator is absolutely free. You can even share those later on. Those calculations for, let's say, different scenarios. Could even sell them. I believe. Doesn't matter. So. We got this. We got the first upgrade now up and running. Now we need to go and take a look into the shooting delay, because it's basically the same thing. For the shooting delay, I want to have the same mechanic. So we start with the 3, but we want to not increase the value by another multiplier and stuff. We want to decrease it because we want to reduce the speed or the multiplier up until a certain point as well. And let's assume we're gonna start with 3 seconds of delay. It's going to take quite some time until we reach level, and so on and so forth. To do so, we're gonna go for and create more and more stuff. I can use the upgrade level for this one as well. It's still the same rules. It's a maximum of 10 levels. By the way, later on you can also use that to calculate prices and stuff. So we're gonna have, what is it? We're gonna have a reload. As also an S value for speed, I guess. It doesn't matter how we name it. It's going to be nothing about the rocket. Let me make something different. And here we can also use some other type of info element. Use a notification or something. And here we're gonna make a note about what is it called? Let's say the delay or shoot delay. Shoot delay. So everything below that is going to be about the shoot delay. So we're gonna have an S underscore base a delay and no equal to 3. Without this. So we're gonna have a base delay of 3, and the smallest amount should not be lower than 0 actually, or anything. But this is basically our base over here. We choose a base delay between 0 and something. Actually between 0 and 3, if that is the maximum amount over there. So we could also, start even slower. But I believe 3 is a good number to start with and play around with the actual base delay. But somewhere between 0 and 3. So we're gonna go for the maximum here first. Now we wanna maybe implement a multiplier here as well. So whatever the kind of multiplier just for the space delay is going to be, we can also use this multiplier over there. It doesn't matter. But let's say we're gonna say delay multiplier, and we're gonna set this one to be equal to whatever number. Let's start with anything. The multiplier should not be smaller than 0. Actually, we could even put a negative number. Would also be a possibility. So we got a multiplier between, I don't know, 1 and 0. And what else? Well, we need to have the calculation between all of them multipliers. And we can do something similar like that. We can also combine all of these. But we need to negate it. So we need to always say the multiplier or the number is going to be smaller than the one we are actually looking for. So again, all of these calculations are totally up to you and how you want to calculate them. So I'll make an R. R2 is equal to, what could we, oh, I believe this is that going to give me our delay? Maybe this is going to give me an issue with the _2 over there, I don't know. What do we need to do? We're gonna take our S multiplier. Can I just copy values? That would be insane. Copy, paste, awesome. And multiply that by, well, our upgrade level. Oh, I didn't want to pass that away. So now we have upgrade level of 1. And if we, go here, we're gonna get all of these multiply delay. So the maximum of 10 would now give us a delay of 3. But I want to multiply that by -1. So we get a negative number. So we can add this negative number later in our final calculation. So the S underscore current delay is, well, equal to our, well, what is it? We need to have at least, as we did before, when we have no upgrade, we want to have at least the base as the base delay, right? So we're gonna say S, I'm gonna copy this again. S, give it to me. S base delay plus S base delay times R delay. The fun part is it's going to give us a negative result of -6, which is too much. Actually, it's reducing the current delay to be a negative number. We want to make it so that it's never under 0. So probably we need to do something against that as well. But first off, let's play around with these numbers. 0.1 is still giving us 0.1 is going 0.01 is still giving us a positive number? Nope, it's not. So what is the smallest delay, the smallest delay multiplier over here to play around with? So I'm gonna play around. Well, what was the base delay? It was 3. Okay, so the current delay is now 0.10. This is that. Let's try again. 0.15. That's a nice number, I guess. So our delay multiplier at the maximum level to shoot even further, even more, should be somewhere like that, I guess. It's hard to do all of these clicks over here because it's going to go against the things. So this number should never be smaller than 0.1, 0.1. And so we have a positive current delay over here. So we may need to go and put some debug line inside the code, or I just need to do and say, hey, you should not use any weird things over here. Like this number should never be smaller than 0 because it doesn't make sense. It's like wrong. Actually, it's totally wrong. There are other things. Well, no, we cannot do this. Forget it. Okay, so let's integrate this. It has nothing to do with the friendly rocket, so I can close it. It has nothing to do with this rocket. So who's actually responsible for the shoot delay? I guess it's the game manager. As we can see, the shoot delay is going to be over here, which is the one which we want to recalculate or pre-calculate whatsoever. So we don't want to really touch this. Basically, this is the base shoot delay. I'm gonna name this base shoot delay. Then we're gonna create more fields. Serialized field. I'm gonna have a float, which is going to be my delay multiplier, and set this one to be 0.095f, as I said before. I'm gonna make a note, never go lower than 0.095, because otherwise it will be a negative number. And what else do we need? We know about the level because we can read it from the wallet. And let's see, got the current delay, and we're gonna have R, and R is the one we are going to, calculate later. So we got the base delay, the delay multiplier, and now we need the actual current delay as a value. So we're gonna go in, and this one doesn't really need to be, once again, a serialized field over here. We just need to take those. Copy, paste, load. And the fun part is every time we're gonna check for an upgrade, we're gonna need to recalculate the actual shoot delay. Float current shoot delay. We can set this one to 0 because it's going to be calculated based on the upgrades. But the question is, like, when do we upgrade this one? Like, when do we recalculate this one? Well, the first time where we want to do this is in start. Whenever the game starts, we want to see what is the current level. So we need to do the calculation about, well, this is all about round handling. So let's go and make something like upgrades. Upgrades. It's not all here, but something. So we return a float again. Calculate shoot delay. We don't need to have any input values. Now, since we got no information about all of that, we're going to create an R again. An R is going to be starting with the actual current upgrade of which item. So we're going to talk to spawner.instance.mywallet. I believe it was my wallet, wasn't it? Oh, it's not about the spawner. It's about the shop system, because the shop system is the one which knows about my wallet. The game manager doesn't. My wallet dot, what do I want to know? I want to read the level. I want to read the level of an item ID. And now I need to know which item ID is that. So the item ID of this option, or of this one for the reload over here, is item ID 3. So this is a fixed number over here. So we're going to take that. And what do we need? We need to multiply that by our multiplier, I guess. Delay multiplier. We can always go and check out in our formula, test it out, or see if it is correct. So we're gonna calculate our R delay with the delay multiplier times the upgrade level. And now we also wanna multiply that by -1. We can also use -R. Both works. I'm gonna, multiply it by -1. Basically, both are going to do the same thing. You can, whenever we use R, we can say -R. That's the same thing. But let's keep it as is for the moment. So the next one is, what do we want to return? We want to return literally the same thing. We want to return base delay plus base delay times R as delay to get this one result. To get a reduced number of shoot delay. So we're going to do literally the opposite of what we have done before. So in here, we want to return, as I said, R, or actually let's start with the base shoot delay plus base shoot delay times R. So we always make sure we have at least a 3 as a number. So we always add, oh wait, Do we do this? Yeah, I guess. Because this r is going to be a negative number, we still need to add it. So like a plus symbol and a minus symbol are going to be the same. What we could do is, instead of using this over here, we can also say we negate the actual number. When this is going to be a negative number, we might want to spit out, as I said before, something like a warning message. For example, if the delay multiplier is smaller than 0.1 or something, or 0.095 or 0.09, I don't know what the smallest is. We can take a look into this. Over here, let's try. Why does this one now increase? The delay over here is now 0. That's funny. Actually, when this is 0, we add nothing to it, then it becomes the full speed again. So, what is this? Oh, we don't want to have a positive number. So 0.1 is literally the last item over here. So the current delay would be 0. Everything under that would increase the delay, and everything below that is going to reduce it. So 0.01 is going to be the absolute smallest number for the shoot delay. Never go lower than 0.1f. Okay. That's done. Calculate shoot delay should work. So whenever we now, there seems to be some issue anywhere. Oh yeah, we need to take the current shoot delay. As I said, in start, we want to calculate the current shoot delay. So current shoot delay is equal to calculate the shoot delay, open close parentheses, so we get in return the float. But we also need to do this whenever we are done by closing the shop, because we might have purchased an upgrade. So what we're gonna do is, after we are closing all of that, we're gonna reset or recalculate the current shoot delay to be the current new shoot delay probably. And then we go for and do the rest of the content, like activating all of that and go into the next round, stuff like that. So this needs to happen every time we close the shop, otherwise the upgrades are not going to be recognized and not going to update actually. So, and that's it, I guess, for the shoot delay. There's one thing which is going to be the try shoot rocket is now using invoke, but they try to use the shoot delay, so we're gonna go for current shoot delay. Absolutely. Save that. And that should be it. Let's try. Close that. Gonna wait until the compiler is done running. And press play. I don't know what the current upgrade is, so I need to check the wallet. The current wallet says element 3. No, element ID 3 actually has a level of 1. So my current delay, I'm not quite sure. Where can I see my current delay? The delay multiplier is here. The current shoot delay is 2.713. So it's basically reduced by this number. Great. So I can shoot quicker than I did before because I negate the number. I know that I don't show what's currently happening. But the quicker we can shoot, the faster actually we can also get rid of, any somethings. So works so far. If I would go and cheat a bit and give myself full level, what's the maximum level actually? I don't know. Is it maximum level 9 or 10? Let's try. I believe it's 9. 9 plus 1, I guess, is the biggest one over here, since we start at 0. So we're gonna show level 10. And if I try to upgrade this, I don't even have the money. Let's give me some million money here and try to upgrade this. It says it's 11, but well, actually it's impossible to increase that. So I need to take a look into this in a moment as well. So now I am at, well, what's the current level? Is it really level 20 and showing here as being level 20? It does. We are literally unable to purchase that. So again, we need to protect against the, overflow or the possible overflow by, telling, hey, this is too high. You cannot purchase this anymore. Again, now we have we would have a false integration of that. So who do we need to upgrade? Who is responsible for the upgrades itself? Every upgrade on its own? Not quite sure. Let me open the actual reload script and see what's happening over there. Oh, I can't. Where's the actual scriptable object for that upgrades? This one. Let's see. Return price list 0. How do we add to it? If we read the price and we return 0, we might gonna go and not make it so that the upgrade could be purchased. Who is responsible for the upgrade? Is it the shop system? Public void purchase item ID. Let's see what's on the button. I just don't remember. Because that doesn't make sense. Oh, I need to go here. Who do we call? We try to buy an item inside shop system. So, but it's not in here. Oh, it's inside shop item. Shop item. We try to buy an item, which just calls, of course, shop purchase. Okay, so whenever we try to purchase, we need to, I guess, let me take a look into shop item again. Those are just not important. Try to buy an item. Do we know about ourselves? At least we got an item ID here, and we got the upgrade connected to it as well. So we could be blocking the input by calling the upgrade and say, hey, what's my current level of this item, and return something like could be purchasable, is purchasable or not. But this one does not know about this. The upgrade itself doesn't know about its maximum purchase. So we don't know in which level, or the upgrade itself doesn't know anything about itself. The only one who knows about it is the wallet inside the shop system. So if I block it here, it might be not a good idea, since we are just trying to purchase this one inside the shop system itself. So instead, I'm gonna go for and request when I want to purchase this one and see what's the current level over there. And only if the current level of the current purchasable item of the one I want to go for, only then I want to be able to purchase this. So not just if I have enough money, but also, so first off, of course, we can do this over here, but we can also say, read the level of the item. Yeah, we should read the level of the item first, which we do here. My wallet read level of item. So if the level of item is, so if level of item is bigger than what? Actually, the amount of possible upgrades per item. So if the level of item is bigger than, I don't know if I can go for it directly. basically what I need is I need the length of the maximum possible items inside the upgrade list. So I need to find the item. Maybe I should take the file, find the item, the current one item first, so I don't have to do this twice. And I don't need to do all this comparison one by one, but can then, you know, take a look into the item ID, and I believe I'm gonna catch this first. So I want to catch the current item first. Upgrade item, or upgrade, is equal to, I just say current item, the one we are literally looking for. We're gonna take this, copy this, and paste. Gonna hide that. So first off, I want to find the upgrade I'm currently looking for. So basically, now I need to just say the current price. So int current price is equal to current item, where is it? Current item dot read price of level of item. As we just did here, which is reading just the level of the item ID over there, which is good. And now the next one is going to be, we need to know, instead of going through the complete upgrade list, we're gonna go for if the current level of item is smaller than the possible element list, or smaller equal or smaller. Smaller current item. And then here we should see the actual price list dot length. I believe it's an array of items. Oh, if that is the case, we want to return. No, we don't want to return. So actually we want to say if the level of item is bigger or equal the current item list. So we're going to start at 0 at the smallest index, and the maximum index in my case is going to be 9. A total length of the number is 10. So we might need to go and say price list dot length -1. Not quite sure. We just want to return over here. So it doesn't matter how long the list of items or possible upgrades is going to be. We just go out because we don't want to continue actually at this point. What we could do before calculating the price, we can, you know, take the current price calculation and put this below, like here. So we don't go and do this. So we go here, check, are we high enough or too high? And if that's not the case, well, then we, you know, don't do anything further than that. We might go and still need to upgrade the actual item price to be 0 at this point whenever we are over it, which we don't at the moment, but maybe we do automatically as well. We'll see. So currently it doesn't look that I have any issues. I want to make it so that I reset my wallet. I keep the money because I want to be, I want to test this fully. I'm gonna reset them all. Gonna keep the item IDs as they are. And now I can go for and purchase any of them upgrades and see what's happening over here. Okay, so let's go. I can do this multiple times. Price is increasing and decreasing from here, which is nice. Let's see how often I can upgrade. Now, this is level 9. Now I have level 10. And I want to go further, but I can't. And this is because the maximum length of the item is, it is 9 over here, which is giving us back a 10 at this point. So inside this item, inside this whichever item over here, we got a maximum amount of length of 10. So if we would go one further up, only then it would go back to 0. But in here it would upgrade it probably to level 11. So which is going to be probably this one over here. So let me do it this way and see what's happening if I click another times. And this length is literally going over. It doesn't give us any argument out of range exception, but it should reset this price to be 0. As we can see now, we are at 11. We cannot go and do anything against this. So probably we should not reduce the show item reduction by 1 actually whenever we upgrade this. So we don't need to add 1 into our price, how we show the price actually. So how do we show the price? I don't know. So read the price here, which is good. Smaller than, well, this 10. If level is smaller 10, we return that, otherwise we return 0. This 10 probably is going to be price list dot length, so we can use the price list dot length over here. But where do I show the shop item upgrade infos? Over here, this one, the new level plus 1. So literally what we start with is, this is the question we have to ask ourselves, I guess. So do we need to do this or not? Because we upgrade the level text to be plus 1. It's going to confuse us. I'm probably gonna confuse the system itself by just showing wrong numbers at this point. So what we now would have is a 10 instead of 11 here, and we shouldn't see any price text or not. Probably it's because the wallet. What does the wallet has now? Where's the wallet? My wallet. Yeah, it shows level 10. Which is basically the end of that. Didn't I stored this info? Update infos. Update infos. Current level. Maybe I'm gonna... it's level current level. Plus 1. Level text. Level text current. So we're gonna pass in... new level plus 1. I don't know why we're gonna do this. Let me try and see what's going on. Maybe I just get rid of all these plus 1s over there. So I'm gonna go and start again here. Gonna make it at level 0. So I want to see what the current level is. So all of them are level 0. If I upgrade this one, then I get a 2, which is wrong. So I need to get rid of that. So we see exactly which level we got there. Otherwise, we would need to skip one step anyhow, different. So all of them should be now 0, except this one is 1. And if I upgrade this one, the last one is going to be 10. And we don't have any possibility to upgrade anymore. Maximum level is 10, which is basically correct. But it looks quite strange if you start with level 0 and the first upgrade is going to cost 10. So yeah, so the next is going to be the next price and so on and so forth. But still, I'm quite happy about this. I'm fine with that weird scenario of all these numbers, and it's okay to start at level 0. If somebody wants to go and change that, well, why not, right? Okay, so upgrades done, shop system basically done. So we cannot go further. It's upgrading correctly, and what we now want to do is we want to test if our shoot delay is now like 0.1 something. Which we probably see when the game has been started inside the game manager. So currently I have a base speed. What's the current shoot delay? It's 2715. Why? Because we have upgraded the speed but not the reload. If I now go and hit upgrade and purchase, you see this does not change. But if I start the next round, now it's changed to 0.5. Now I can literally spread 1,000 of them, you know, over here, just because we purchased all the upgrades, which is absolutely phenomenal, I guess. So this is literally God mode now. We can click multiple times, gonna create multiple things, just because we have upgraded all of that. So meaning at the point where people are going to be at this point, by inside the game, by playing the game and so on and so forth, we want to make 100% sure that there is a bunch of stuff happening on the actual screen. So this superpower is not going to be fulfilled as easy. So we need to make it extremely expensive, of course, as well. Pretty good. So what is the next one? Well, just the other upgrades, which are called rebuild. We haven't done rebuild yet. So our buildings at the very first moment over here are not able to be rebuilt, and we don't have the function for this one yet, which is just, you know, ticking down a timer X and then waiting for it. But what we can reduce or increase now is the radius as well. So whenever we upgrade the radius, we're gonna have a higher scale amount. So we basically do the same thing. Probably I don't go and you know, calculate any strange numbers over there. I could. But the scenario is basically the same thing. So we got a base level or specific upgrade levels. We can fill in more content over here. For example, I can just, you know, make a note and say, this is going to be everything about the scale of, you know, explosion or something. And basically it's the same thing. We got a base scale, s_base scale. Oh, nope. Where's that base scale? I didn't want to put it up there. Base scale. This is going to be equal to, I don't know what the base number is, maybe 3. I want to go up on 3. I don't know what the biggest one is. So I don't know. Scale speed. This is something I should not touch, I guess. It could also be upgradable, right? But I believe the scale speed should be the speed, or maybe we're gonna have to upgrade the scale speed also whenever we grow the actual explosion itself. So, but the goal scale over here is the one we need to literally recalculate at least. So we need to have here maybe a serialized field about the scale multiplier. Again, you can use any of them things, any calculation you like. Scale multiplier. We have the that's going to be an interesting one. If the scale speed does not scale over time, it could take quite some time to grow until a specific point, so it takes longer. And the chances are higher to hit multiple rockets at the same time, because we do not scale the speed up as well. So this scale speed might be not quick enough. when it comes to bigger scale. So we would need to know how long does it take to to play the complete function over there. We need to put some time variable kind of in there if we want to keep the actual explosion, let's say, rate, or the growth speed, not growth speed persistent, but the grow over time to be fulfilled 1%. Every time the same level at the same time. So we need a scale multiplier, I guess, and we need we need a serialized field of the base scale, maybe, or the start scale. Let's keep the naming convention. Base scale is equal to what? How do we calculate the actual explosion radius? We're gonna, look at this. We got a goal scale grabbed from Game Manager, so we don't need to do this in here. That's good. That's pretty good. So we can calculate this inside the Game Manager itself, so it's upgradable for us easier. And also, we can put this here in upgrades as well. Float. And here we have the get explosion radius. So currently the explosion radius is the one which we are starting with, is going to be the 1.5. How do I calculate the maximum size? And what's the start scale? The start scale is the one which we set directly inside the object, I guess. I just don't know if... Oh yeah, that sounds correct. Okay, so the start explosion radius, serialized field, float, scale, multiplier. Maybe I'm gonna make some note about the explosion, like a header here. Explosion. So we got this scale multiplier, which we can use any number. We need to fiddle that out, 0.22 or something, which is probably the best way to use another graph over there. And serialized field. What else do we need? We get the upgrade, of course, from the shop system. I don't know. Let's go back and calculate this thing. So we got a base scale, which is going to be 0.5, 1.5. This is the base explosion radius or whatever. So what do we need is... Maybe I should use m's for multipliers, but it doesn't matter, I guess. So we got a scale multiplier, and we can set this one equal to point something, and it should not be, I don't know, shouldn't be. Probably it shouldn't be smaller than 0, but high doesn't matter. And what else? Maybe we should even keep the smaller. We need to have, I don't need this. We need to have R, which is going to be our, what is it? Our actual scale. R scale equals, what is it about? It's about the S base scale, S underscore base scale. Base scale multiplied by our scale multiplier. So I'm gonna copy this name again, the full name, copy and paste. So currently if we got, we forgot something. We need to use not this, but we need to integrate also the upgrade level. So maybe we can do this directly over here. Which is going to be L underscore upgrade level. There's one issue again. When upgrade level is 0, the result is going to be 0 here as well. So we need to say we want to add the base scale to the new base scale. I'll multiply that by the multiplier. Can I just open this? I can. Sometimes there are like empty fields, like spaces or something, which the program here does not like. I need to go. Oh, that was wrong. That sounds better. So if we got now a upgrade level of 0, we should have our base scale over here as a base. Now if we got a level of 1, we're gonna have a 0.8 now. So it's increased by 0.3. So let's see what's the maximum scale. If we have level 10, the scale is 4.5. So we start with a 1.5 and 4.5. I believe that's pretty nice, pretty decent size over there. So now we can literally take this formula, and once again we can tweak the scale multiplier, and we can also tweak on the base scale, but we can test out and see what's a good scale or not. A 0.2 doesn't look too shabby. Maybe we're gonna do something like 0.22 or 0.24. Something like that. So we have a 5.1. I don't know how huge that is going to be, but I believe it's going to take quite some time to get there. I hope, depending on the amount of money you need for this upgrade to be at this. But you want to give something in return to play the game, to make yourself a bit more powerful, something like that. Probably. Maybe it's a bit too huge. I don't know. Maybe 1.5 or 0.15 as a scale multiplier works better. But we can test this. So I'm gonna put this number here, 0.514, as being the scale multiplier, and the rest is now going to be part of this get explosion radius. And so this is going to be let me just name this one base explosion radius, or scale, actually base explosion scale. It's going to be 1.5. So we're going to take this and we're going to do the same thing. We can also, completely put the complete stuff together over here. So what is that? What do we now need? We need to use, where's the formula again? Because here I compressed all of that into one line. So we're going to use base scale multiplied by that, multiplied by the upgrade level. So once again, it might be better to catch some information here for the R, which is going to be the result of our calculation based on, the base calculation or base stuff like that, multiplied by. Now we need to talk to the shop again. So shop system.instance.mywallet.read the actual level of an item ID, and we want to know what is the actual level of this, or what is the actual item ID for the explosion radius. That's what we need to know by clicking on where is the item? Where's the item? What is it called? It is like, oh, this is the radius, of course. Here, radius has an item ID of 1. So I'm gonna pass in the 1 here as being a fixed number, and then we're gonna be able to multiply that again by what else? Where is my? There we go. By the upgrade level, by the scale multiplier. So scale multiplier is going to be Well, basically, this is the multiplier we need. We're gonna take not the base scale here. We're gonna need the scale multiplier. So scale multiplier multiplied by that. And in this scenario here, we're gonna take base explosion scale times R. That should be it. Because these two are going to be, compressed again. And we now take this, which we got, and add times R. If it is 0, then it's fine, then it's not important. And we cannot add it to it. So now we got a pretty decent return possibility to pre-calculate the explosion size every time we are shooting a new rocket. There's one thing, anyhow, anywhere, which is this one. We don't need this anymore, but I can take this function now, and since it is part of upgrades for the calculation radius, I'm gonna just pop it back in here, and so every time we need, we can call it. I'm gonna save that, and so the explosion itself is going to call it whenever a start happens, and just get the current based on all the upgrades and stuff, and then we start to grow. Cool. Let's test it. What's going to be the biggest scale we're gonna get over here? So we start at a 0 level. Gonna see where my shop system is. Or basically where my wallet is. So what's currently in the wallet, we got a scale which is element ID 0 over here, or element ID 1. We currently have a scale of 0. So we're gonna have a normal 1.5 being the maximum as being a radius. So diameter rather small. It's pretty quick in its calculation, it seems. So what is my base number? Because it seems that the radius is quite small. Base explosion scale. Base explosion scale plus. Let me check this out pretty quick, since I believe it's too small. It's like, if this scale maybe is a bit too small. I mean, it's not, yeah, it is a radius, I guess, or is it not? Let me reset these values here. So I wanna have the feeling at the very beginning of how big it really is. Like the explosion itself. So let's shoot here and see what's happening. Yeah, that's too small. So the base radius, the base scale should be bigger, I guess. So meaning we might go with the double of the number, like a base scale of 3. And so the maximum, if we are at level 10, should be 7.2, which is almost a bit more than double. Like 3 times bigger than that, I guess. Well, not 3 times, 2.2 something. So I'm gonna pass the number of explosion scale over here to be 3. I believe it was even starting to be. Oh no, it was 3, I guess. Let's try. I don't know why the scale is now different. So I'm gonna press play. Start next round. And see how big that one is. That's pretty strange. What is who is what missing? Let me spit that out here. I want to see what the goal scale is going to be when it returns. Debug.log goal scale. just so I know what's happening and see if the number is really correct or not. This is basically how you should also go and debug content. If you don't know 100% because there's movement inside or nothing you can really steer or fiddle out, then you should use the console and spit out the information you need. So it says the actual goal scale is still 1.5. Ah, I know why. And you know why too, I guess. The prefab. This is funny actually that this pops up when I close the game. I don't know why. Probably because of OnDisable or something. Which is pretty strange. Anyway, in the shop. No, not in the shop, but in the prefab, there's this explosion. And this explosion has the explosion script. And inside... Oh. It's not an explosion. It's a game manager. This base explosion scale over here is going to be like 3 or something. I don't know what it has been before. But this is the actual issue about the resize or the sizing itself. So if there are serialized fields which you are allowed to touch, you're gonna have to be sure to use them or change them accordingly. That looks way better now. Pretty good. Let's see what a maximum upgraded one is going to take a look at or take into consideration. So I want to upgrade radius now. I'm gonna go full size. I want to see what the 7.2 is going to be. And I should also get the information spit out here whenever the first one gets created. It still goes and grows in its slow speed of 4, which I don't know if that would be another upgradable one, up to you. But if I now shoot one thing, that's a huge explosion, I guess. But as we can tell, the growth speed is pretty small or pretty slow. It's even slower than a rocket. So we might go and play around with this scale speed over here as well. Maybe we're gonna upgrade this one by each level. So when an explosion is bigger, then we maybe grow that one faster. Or we're gonna make it a 6 and just play around with this number over here, because we don't know what is a good and a bad number. You need to backtest all of that stuff. And see what are valid numbers and valid values for specific things. That it is what it is. So now we're gonna be a bit faster. But not with a fly speed, but with the actual explosion. That's feeling better, let's say. And it's kind of God mode-ish with such a huge explosion. But again, it depends always on the game state. If there are like 500 different things happening on screen, or maybe you're gonna use some health scenarios where some items or some things need to be more explosions to get destroyed, or maybe you got a boss and every time an explosion hits something on the boss, then it just gets reduced but not get hit instantly. There are hundreds of possibilities by that. So I believe it's fine to have something like this, but only doing 1 damage at a time, literally, or 1 something at a time. Cool thing again, it's working 1%. The last thing would be the rebuild, but that's what I'm gonna do in another session, since that one here already takes quite some time, or took quite some time already, just to fill out all the formulas, fill out all the things and necessities and stuff like that. I'm happy with the numbers. I get rid of the actual graph over here because I believe I don't need it anymore. I mean, I hope. Otherwise, if you want to share graphs or want to download or actually play around with graphs, there's somewhere a share button for this particular graph. I just don't know where it has been. Maybe somewhere here. No, not really. I just don't know. Cancel. So there's somewhere a share button. Here we go. So gonna hit here, then you get a link, and then you can export it and reuse it and stuff like that. So yeah, this is where we can play around with something like this. Probably I'm gonna make a post about this graph, or let me just share this link, copy. Maybe gonna put this into the chat over here so everybody can play around with that. There we go. So, and can take a look into other graphs probably later on. Create your own graph just by, go and reset, create a new one, play around with that. Something like this. So, and also I'm gonna now have this one for later purposes if that is not getting deleted from the chat. So, again, that's basically everything you need to know and understand and so on and so forth. Once again, the next session is going to be about the rebuild scenario, which we are going to tackle to rebuild a building or something, but probably only one at a time, something like that. So we limit the rebuild abilities, and later on it becomes even more chaotic when the game goes in the further stage. But that is basically the last thing we need, right? Because we have a shop system which works perfectly. We just need the rebuildability, which is meaning when we got 0 level, then we are not able to rebuild it. On the other hand, we might be able to select to be rebuilt, but this is going to be like, it depends on how long a stage is going to be in the end. We might go over and integrate something also based on the level we have on levels we have played already. So we maybe extend the wallet a bit, saying we have played this and that amount of rounds. Like we are currently in round 10, we have all of them upgrades, so we need to make our game harder over time because we were playing a bunch of levels already. So if you have played like 5,000 rounds or something, that you get and you got just some amount of money, or you need to replay probably some. So, and if, for example, if no buildings are left, this is also something to think about. If no buildings are left, but there are still things falling down, that we could say, okay, no problem. We're gonna be able to, how shall I say? We're gonna be able to play around with something like not just rebuild, but some game over scenario. So we don't go further into the levels. So we don't add a new level to it because we were just losing literally all of our buildings in one round. And so the game becomes harder. It becomes endless. Literally, because we can always say there's always a next level. There's always something. You always get coins, but you don't really always, you maybe don't always win the current round or current session because you had bad luck or something like that. And so we can once again integrate the rebuildability as well, and so on and so forth. So all of that is going to be possible for us to integrate as well. And also what we can say is every time a level is, let's say, level 10 or 5 or 20 or 100, we can make a boss stage, like, or a super heavy, hard scenario, and or like a bonus level. Like every 10 levels, you're gonna pass in a bonus level. And you can design them levels however you want them. You can make a super rain showers or like a rocket shower, literally with a bunch of things, and you just try to get as much as you can until all your buildings are gone. And then you go back to the normal scenario, I would say, something like this. So you have a bunch of possibilities literally to go forward. So once again, in the next session, which is not going to be today, in the next session, I'm gonna go and integrate the rebuildability, and the last thing is going to be something about the level up system, like the wallet knows what's the latest level we have been in, and then the prototype is basically done. You can play around with the numbers, play around with the multipliers, the calculations, stuff like that, and I'm gonna put this on my website later on so you can purchase it if you are too, busy to create such a prototype, and then you can make it beautiful. I mean, really beautiful. You can pass in rumble, like cam shakes. You can put in particle effects, your own 3D models. You can make this a 2D, a 3D. You can design it the way you want. Like everything you're gonna see over here, and all systems are working together 100%. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the session. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and